Hey loves, welcome back to another Keep 10 Drop 10 eyeshadow palette clutter video. We need to do some other ones besides eyeshadow palettes, but I have so many eyeshadow palettes and you guys were like really excited about another eyeshadow palette one that I grabbed a whole bunch. Honestly, there's a few in here that I know I'm going to keep, and then there's a few that I know I'm going to get rid of, but a lot of these I'm kind of on the fence with. So I'm just going to make myself choose. I have to cut this down. I have too much makeup in this room, but so much of this I can't even use, so I would much rather donate it or give it to friends and family. Per usual, I know it upsets people, but I won't be sending any of it to any of you guys because it is used. Let's just jump in. Before we do, please subscribe if you have not already. I upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and there should be many more declutter videos to come on all sorts of things. Let me know what you want most down below. Do you want a highlight one? Ooh, that's gonna be hard. Or a blush one? Or a contour one? Or a lipstick one? Oh girl, I need to do a lip product one real bad. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so how this is gonna work is I'm gonna grab two at a time and I'm gonna make myself get rid of one and I can keep one. So I will try and kind of do similar ones. Like if I have two from one brand, I will try and use those together, or if there's similar type of palettes, because that'll make it easier for me personally to tell myself that I don't need both. But let's do this. It's gonna be hard. We have a head-to-head Too Faced face off. So we have the Romantic Eye Palette and the Cat Eyes palette. For so long was not even drawn to this type of packaging. I think the leopard print got me on this one and the whole thing that was a cat eye palette. I know I have a tutorial somewhere on my channel with this guy. It's a really pretty palette. I like Too Faced shadows. They're not my favorite anymore. They used to be like my jam. And then this one is the Romantic Eye palette. I can't remember who I saw do a tutorial on this, but it was just so pretty. It was so pretty. And I think there might be a tutorial with this one too. So let's look at these side by side. They're definitely a different vibe, but they are somewhat similar in the sense that they're both Too Faced little compact palettes. I have to think about which one am I going to use more or ever use again. I honestly feel like this is hard, guys. A lot of these are very similar. This one's just a little deeper and this one's a little softer. I think I'm going to keep the Romantic Eyes palette, especially because I will be doing some wedding makeup coming up here soon. And I feel like this will be such a perfect palette to use. So I'll probably keep that one. This one is lovely, but it's not unique enough that I feel like I need to keep it. So this little guy is going to go bye-bye. So I have an abundance of Kat Von D palettes, but these are two we are going to look at. I'm pretty sure which one of these I'm going to keep because if you guys know me, you know that I love me some warm tones. I loved this palette. What is this? This is the, I don't even remember what these are called. I don't think either is sold anymore, so we're just going to look at them. But this is what the inside of the palette looks like. I really do enjoy the formula of Kat Von D eyeshadows, especially in these palettes. This guy was my favorite for a really long time. I love the Shade and Light eye palette. So I am a fan of the formula and I will use this. I will use this. This is definitely the oranges and stuff in this. This is just a beautiful palette. So I definitely think out of the two, I will use that one more. This one is more unique, so it's going to be really hard for me to get rid of this guy, but unique enough, if that makes sense. I feel like there are enough shadows from other brands that I really love, like Revolution or ColourPop. It's really, really pretty, but I probably don't need it. Oh, this is hard though, because that blue is speaking to me. Let me swatch this blue. Didn't swatch as good as I had hoped. So we'll just get rid of this guy. I'm just going to go with my instinct and get rid of this one and keep this one. This is the, ooh, she's dusty and dirty. The Sephora in Pantone Universe palette, Marsala. This has been years, but oh girl, look how loved this palette was. Ugh, she's still too pretty. I have to keep her. Like, I'm sorry to look at it and just be like, girl, she's beautiful. Like, this is just a beautiful, beautiful palette. I was obsessed with it. I used it every single day. Just the color selection is gorgeous. I remember really liking the pigmentation given I haven't used it in a long time. So I will have to use it and maybe go from there. But on first, like, memory, no, she's pretty. She's a pretty palette. We're going to keep her. And even though I can't use this in a tutorial, I liked it enough that I would want to keep it. The one I was going to compare it against was this Studio Makeup On The Go palette. These shadows are really, really pretty, and I know there's always one in each palette that's just like so beautiful. Like I thought I was gonna keep, what? In my last palette declutter video, there was one of these and I thought I was gonna get rid of it, and then I swatched and I was like, no, I have to keep it. But I don't see any shades in here that I'm absolutely like have to have, so I'm fine with getting rid of this one. I definitely want to keep this Sephora one. Just those red shades, and like it's got one of those like blue browns in there too. Yes, down here. Just such a unique, it's a solid palette. This is a solid palette, so I definitely want to keep her. This guy, it's good, but I have enough neutral palettes. I don't need 1,000. But I probably, even after getting rid of this one, will still have way too many. Okay, so we are going to do these two. This is a set from Too Faced, so I'm going to count them as one. And then this is a palette from Stila. This is the Nuevo Natural Eyeshadow Palette. I remember I was so jazzed on buying this, and I still haven't. I don't even know if I've used it. It's just a very neutral palette, but it's really pretty. I think it's got kitten in it, and that's what always sells me, is kitten. It's just beautiful in all ways. You can see her right there. She's beautiful as an eyeshadow, as a highlight. It's really pretty. It's a very, very, very basic though. So these are eyeshadow and blush palettes. The only downfall of the holiday ones, I'm trying to get rid of more of my holiday ones. A lot of you guys seemed really upset that I wouldn't use them again, but like this one, it's been out for a few years. So I feel like if they're more recent holiday palettes, I would use them, but this one's from a couple years ago, so I don't see the point in ever using it again on my channel. I do remember really liking, why do I swatch them? It makes me want to change my mind. That is a beautiful teal shade. Girl. Ooh, and this one's got a shade named Bright Eyes. You guys don't know, Bright Eyes is my favorite band of all time. Color Burst for life. The Merry one is more neutral, and the Be Bright one is clearly more bright. This is difficult. This is difficult. I'm going to be a turd, and I'm going to say I'm going to keep the Stila one just because I don't really have a lot of Stila palettes, and I feel like I like to have at least one of like certain brands in my collection, but I probably only have like 2 Stila palettes that I can even think of. So I am going to keep the Stila one. Then I'm going to also keep the Be Bright one. I'm cheating, I'm sorry, but I will get rid of the Be Merry one because it's just, it's not special enough to keep, even though they are a set. I can see some of these have hard pan. I mean, the contour looks really nice. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. Hope that's cool with you. All right, so we are going to do a Anastasia palette, which is never fair to whoever she goes up against, and a model's own palette. So let's see. Vintage Rose palette. Okay, this one is really pretty. It's got some different shades in it compared to a lot of the other palettes I have. I remember really liking this palette. I do remember also not really being blown away by this one. I do like the packaging. I don't own any other model's own palettes. This is a pretty palette. My first instinct is to keep it, again, just because I don't have any other model's own palettes. But then this little guy, the Lavish Palette, when this guy came out, I got one PR package from Anastasia ever, and it was this along with some of their eyeliners. So I feel like the like collector in me like just wants to keep it because it was like such an exciting moment in my life that I want to keep it. And like, I will always love Anastasia shadows so much. I clearly didn't use this one as much as I used the newer ones because there's not even any of these have hit pan. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to get rid of the Vintage Rose palette, even though it's really pretty. I'm more likely to reach for the Anastasia one, I guess. But I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to roll with my first instinct to keep all Anastasia because I always love the shadows, and regardless if I'm filming or not, I do reach for Anastasia shadows a lot. So what doing, bangs? That's my thought process. So I guess we're keeping Anastasia, and I'm sorry, Model Zone. We are going to do another, I have a lot of Kat Von D. I'm sorry, there's another Kat Von D. So we are going to do this Juvia's Place, the Nubian palette against the, I think this is the Ladybird palette. I have not given this Juvia's Place one, ooh, she's real pretty, enough of a go. But so these are the two that we are looking at. I feel like I need to give this one more of a go. I loved this palette. It's a really great palette, but again, I don't think this one is available anymore. And I have been getting a ton of requests for more Juvia's Place. I think I have one tutorial somewhere on my channel. And anytime I see looks with these, like, oh, shoot, that's beautiful. You guys, it's like butter. Ooh. Ooh, okay, yeah, we're definitely keeping the Juvia's Place one. Look at that. I have enough matte oranges to last me a lifetime. So keeping Juvia's Place, getting rid of the Kat Von D Ladybird palette. I'm just grabbing two. This is just so completely random. They are not any sort of like comparison. But these are both super affordable palettes. This one is the Coastal Scents 88 Original Eye Palette. Wow. She's an oldie. I really don't need this. I feel like Coastal Scents was really big when I started YouTube. Let me fix this. Both Coastal Scents and BH Cosmetics, I think, are both like private label companies where like you can get pretty much the exact same palette from each brand. At least in the beginning, like both would do these 88 palettes. BH Cosmetics completely changed what they do, and I know Coastal Scents really focuses on their hot pots, and they have palettes as well. But back in the day when I first started my channel, like 5 years ago, before I started my channel, when I was really getting into makeup, I bought literally all of these. So this probably won't be the only one you'll see in this like in a declutter video. The one that I was going to put it against was a Revolution palette, which is the Flawless 3 Resurrection, which is good because I have a hard time getting rid of anything Revolution. So the fact that I don't even have to think about it and I can just keep the Revolution one makes my life so much easier. I really like all of the Flawless palettes from Revolution. I'm a big fan of their eyeshadows. I know some people aren't, but honestly, a lot of their shadows just keep getting better and better. I do have to say though that the Reloaded palettes are like top notch for me. Those are my favorite and they're so stinking affordable. But the Flawless palettes are also really good. So we will get rid of the Coastal Scents and keep the Revolution. I know you're shocked. All right, we've got two neutral palettes. One is a Freedom palette, one is a NYX palette. Let's start by looking at the NYX one. This is a NYX Ultimate palette. These are, what is this? The Warm Neutrals palette. This looks beautiful. I'm sure this has been in a NYX tutorial, I think. I do have a 100% NYX tutorial on my channel. I think I use this. It's a really nice palette. I like NYX eyeshadows a lot. They're not my absolute favorite. They can be hit or miss, but like, look at that. That's beautiful. This is a really solid warm palette. Ooh, girl. And then what's funny is this one's a cool tone one. This one has not even been opened. I'm going to go ahead and leave it sealed and donate this one because Freedom isn't really a big brand anymore. They're kind of phasing Freedom out in favor of Revolution Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Then I'm just going to keep the NYX one. Let's just do that. All right, we've got these two. We have the OG Venus palette from Lime Crime. An amazing, amazing palette. And then a Crown Pro palette. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm. Oh, she pretty though. They're going to be pretty similar palettes to compare. This looks beautiful. So these are the two that we are looking at. The top one is the Crown one. The bottom one is the Lime Crime one. I gotta keep the Lime Crime. Like I can't even, looking at this palette, this is just such memories. I believe I used this in my like grunge 90s tutorial years ago. She's just so pretty. She's so pretty. I just gotta keep the Venus one. I'm sorry that like, at least this is a little easier because I'm just deciding this one. I don't think I've worn, so I'm gonna give it to a friend or donate it because I think it's only been swatched. Oh, this is beautiful though. I'm gonna give this a good home. I'm gonna give it a good home. I'm gonna give it a good home. You're beautiful. I love you. I'm gonna swatch one. Ugh. Oh, she's pretty. But this is just another situation where I have enough warm tone palettes that I need to go with the one that's gonna like touch my heart a little more. Even though I know like this is drama and a lot of people don't support Lime Crime. I won't get into it, but I just want to keep it. I just want to keep it. So this beautiful palette by Crown will go to a friend or family member and be loved. I just grabbed two more palettes. There's another Kat Von D one, and then a Profusion one. You guys know that I've recently really been loving Profusion. This is the Pro Pigment palette. While I love this palette, it's not my favorite one from Profusion. The Sienna's definitely is my absolute favorite. And let's look at this guy. Oh, she cute. She cute. One of my favorite tutorials, like it used to be like my favorite tutorial was the one I did with this. They're very pastel, they're very pretty, but I have to say that since I've gotten the Strobe Cosmetics one, Strobe Cosmetics does pastels beautifully. Like they are pigmented enough that they show up on the lid. Also, Sugar Pill does pastels beautifully, and they're actually pigmented, but also pastel. And I do remember really enjoying this palette, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this one because there's more shades. I really like what Profusion is doing right now, and you guys seem to really enjoy those tutorials. And I feel like it's just when you're comparing the two, like, yeah, the shades aren't exactly the same, but I'm going to get more diverse looks and more options out of this one than I will out of this little guy. Sorry, that's not really a fair comparison, but I'm just going to have to say goodbye to the Esperanza palette. I love this. I love that tutorial. It's a piece of my history here on my channel, but I have to make the decision. I have to cut back. I have to cut back. All right, loves, that is everything for this palette declutter. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I cheated a tiny bit. Anyway, let me know what kind of declutter you want to see next. Hopefully you guys enjoy this style of declutter. It's much easier for me to film. There's just too much stuff in this makeup room and I definitely got to get rid of more stuff. Please let me know what kind of declutter you want next down below in the comments. And I think that's everything. My bangs and this messy hair. We'll see you soon. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Let's do this, girl. Drop 10, toss 10, drop 10, keep 10, toss. What? So pretty. Why are they so pretty? This is not fair. I want to keep them all. Is there any other ones I can get rid of? All right. Let me know if which one. What?